Hello, I'm Brigantia Blackbird of Blackbird's Brew. Happy Tuesday and welcome to Modern Problems, Pagan Solutions. Let's talk about mentoring the young. For the past few generations, the children have been left to their own devices more or less, and they have kind of raised themselves, and they have largely ignored any of the half-hearted attempts coming from the direction of the adults in their lives, and those adults, let's face it, have become increasingly ineffectual. This abandonment has left children vulnerable to the influences of people who do not have their best interest at heart. And some of them have the goal. Their entire goal is to indoctrinate the children into complying with their twisted ideologies. And look at the results. The younger generation is getting ever more detached from anything that even remotely resembles reality or sanity, and that hasn't helped them. So, as a pagan community, we've got to do our duty by the younger generation and stop with this idiocy of leaving the kids adrift. They require guidance, wisdom gleaned through experience, and loving correction. Children need mentors. Parents, of course, have the chief responsibility in this endeavor, but every adult, just by virtue of being a decent person, that does come with an obligation to set a good example of evolving past this mental adolescence and taking on the responsibilities and the benefits of being a grown-up, one that's actually worthy of respect. This can be done without even really speaking to a younger person, let alone delivering a lecture from a podium or on a YouTube channel. And besides, kids are not in the habit of listening to adults. We all know this, and we remember that from our own youth. But kids do pay attention to deeds. So what are our deeds communicating to them? How do we conduct ourselves in public or in private? How do we treat people generally? The kids are watching, even if we don't have children ourselves. And at work, when a young person comes to the workplace, maybe it's their first job, what do they see the adults do? How do the people who have experience conduct themselves? Because that is going to form the basis for what they think is acceptable in a professional setting. It falls on us to teach them, especially if we're training them for a specific job. And are we making an effort to be good teachers? Again, the kids are watching. And what about in spiritual matters? These days, more and more pagans are seeking out and attempting to create communities. With communities come parents with children and teenagers, and with communities come young adults. And, all together, we're taking the first tentative steps to rebuilding pagan civilization. And mentoring the young is absolutely part of the job. Whether at in-person gatherings or in digital spaces, we are beginning to gather around literal and figurative campfires as a pagan people. Our conversations range from the mundane to the deeply philosophical, and we have organic discussions about the meaning of myths and what we learn and why and how we can apply it. And, these things just arise. And, that much the kids are listening to. They may not seem like they're paying attention. They may not acknowledge that they're paying attention, but they are still taking it in. And mentoring is as much leading by example as it is providing guidance or instruction. If the younger generation can see concrete benefits to a way of doing things, then the ideas that led to those benefits are going to be wrestled with. If not immediately, then down the road when they're psychologically ready to ask themselves the big questions. They have something to think back on. Pagan storytelling also has a great deal to offer. I mean, yes, it can entertain and enthrall us. Of course it does. But it also has deeper levels. And one of the tasks of being an adult is to pass on those stories, tell them, analyze them inside and out, and let our actions show what those stories have taught us. This will provide some of the guidance that the younger generation desperately needs. For far too long, they've been told nothing of importance and told just to come up with your own ideas, figure it out. You're a free spirit. You can be anything and everything. And I'd say the results of that chain of thought have been pretty bleak. And again, that sort of thing has left the kids vulnerable to the worst kind of sophistry ever seen on the face of the earth. Now, there's no eliminating the bad influences, but we can stand up and become good influences. The kids need to see the contrast and be able to reflect upon that contrast. And while, of course, they will naturally make mistakes, at least they will have something solid to grasp onto throughout the process, both as they're making mistakes, fighting their way out of their mistakes, and trying to learn from those mistakes. So let's provide that example for them. Let's take on the role of mentors and give the kids a fighting chance. It's the least we can do. So those are my thoughts on that particular topic. Leave your own thoughts for me in the comments section below, or come see us on Gilded. There's a link to join us in the description box. Our group is called Blackbird's Brew. And if you want to talk about this topic or other topics relating to paganism, pagan culture, or just what we can do to start sowing the seeds for a better society, absolutely come and share your ideas with us. Don't be afraid to start a conversation. We would love to talk with you, and hope to see you soon. But that'll do it for now, and I'll see you next time. Bye.